Welcome to episode 2 of I'm So Cadizzy. My name's Chris, I'm the not so special one, or TNSSO for short. If you like this video, please hit the subscribe button, turn your notifications on, and look forward to more videos on this journey as we look to take Cadiz to being one of the top teams in Spain. This is a tactic special. You're going to see me set up my first tactic with the players I've got available to me, why I'm doing what I'm doing, explaining it along the way, picking individual roles, setting players to the right positions. Hopefully you'll find it useful, but this is going to be a really important part of our journey in getting that tactic right, or as right as possible from the very off. Hope you enjoy. I'll see you after the intro. So here we are, time for the interesting bit, mucking around with tactics. So what I've done so far, all I've really done is gone into the tactics page and selected the gegenpress. In video 1, in episode 1, we looked at the squad and it was quite quickly established that we've got quite a lot of players with good work rate. So it makes sense to be playing a high pressure, high pressing game. It just ticks the boxes with regards to the type of football we want to play. Also, we're definitely one of the weaker squads in the division, so we're certainly not up there with the best. And in that respect, like, we want to be putting pressure on players. We don't want to be giving good players plenty of time on the ball and time to build attacks against us. So if we can be a little bit relentless in our press, then hopefully that's going to limit the space that our opposition have got and stop them creating chances. So that's where we're at. Initially, I've chosen a 4-2-3-1. Just initially looking at the squad and what I've got. I've got good fullbacks. I've got good wingers. So that's where our strengths are. So it made sense to be playing a relatively wide formation. Other than that, I haven't changed anything else. We're just going to start filling the roles. So we know that Jeremiah Ledesma is our number one. And for the goalkeeper, what I'll always do is always put them into their best possible role. Your goalkeeper has one job: keep the ball out the back of the net. So you don't want to be playing your keeper in any sort of role that he's not comfortable with. Looking here, we can definitely see that Ledesma's best role is sweeper keeper on support or attack. Now, I'll be honest with you, I don't want him venturing too far out of the box and getting too ambitious. So I'm going to play him on sweeper keeper in support role. What I will also do is just check out his passing ability, which is pretty poor. So he's only 8 for passing and 11 for vision. So in that case, what I'll actually do is go to his instructions and see, because he's a sweeper keeper, he's already on take more risks. However, if I switch him to defend, then he won't take more risks. So although these are his better roles, 3.5 stars to 4 stars, still pretty decent. But because his passing ability is so bad, I've put him to defend rather than support, so that he shouldn't get too creative with his passing and give the ball away and put us under pressure straight away. That is the initial plan. We did see from video 1 as well that our centre-back pairing was definitely going to be... The back four pretty much picks itself in this squad, to be fair. Zaldua goes in at right back. Luis Hernandez and Victor Chust are going to be our two centre-backs, our centre-back pairing. And what I'll always do in that respect is always look at which foot they're better on. So it's right only for Chust, and for Luis Hernandez it is just right, which means he can play with the left, he just prefers the right. So Hernandez gets the left side spot and Chust gets the right hand spot based on that just defining factor. And then Alfonso Espino, we know, is the left back. Now, what we did look at both of these fullbacks in the first video is that they have good work rate, they have good passing, they got good teamwork as well, they work really well in a team, but they're not the greatest going forward, they're not the quickest. So if they get too far forward, they are going to struggle a little bit with getting back in time against a pacey winger. And their crossing and dribbling isn't the best either. So pushing them right up the pitch to get crosses in not only is going to expose us at the back, but it is actually not going to be the most beneficial either. I mean, Espino is crossing 11, dribbling 10. So again, But his passing's half decent, his tackling's good, his marking's good, his work rate is good. So what I actually want to do is push both of these roles into a support inverted winger. The reason being, they can come in. If you look at the description of the inverted wingback, inverted wingbacks, not inverted wingers, sorry. Inverted wingback will function defensively much like a standard fullback or wingback. Brilliant, that's exactly what I want them doing, sitting in their position and defending. However, while a normal wingback will offer width to an attack, the inverted wingback, when he has a player ahead of him and where there are fewer than 2 defensive midfielders, will attempt to drift inside and create space for players around him. Now, for me, it's that bit in brackets that's important, because a lot of people think that an inverted wingback will always come inside, won't really go forward. That's not what this is saying. This is saying when he has a player ahead of him and where there are fewer than 2 defensive midfielders. So he's going to come in when there's a player here in front of him, when we're not really... He's going to basically support possession is what that's telling me. What it also says down here, which is really important, is if there is no teammate ahead of him on his side of the pitch, then the inverted wingback will look to support attacks in a more traditional manner. So he still will, even though we've got him on inverted wingback, he still will do, when need be, the job of a standard wingback. Effectively, you're getting 2 roles for 1 with inverted wingback positions. So I'm going to look to exploit that, because I do want him getting down the wing when this inside forward cuts in or inside winger cuts in. When this person here isn't really covering, I do want him filling this gap. But at the same time, I also want both of them coming in here and supporting the midfield, because they're great with their passing and teamwork and keeping the ball, and they're going to help the team do that. So they both fit that role perfectly. So that's what they're both set to. I don't have, like I said, the ability in them to exploit these areas up here at the top end of the pitch. They're not those sorts of players. They're going to get up there. They're going to struggle to get back, like I said, and they're not going to impact our attack enough from a higher winger type position. So that's the fullbacks. With regards to the centre-backs, I'm not hugely keen. I don't have the players anyway. Passing and vision is what we're ideally looking for ball playing defenders, and vision for Chust is 10, passing is 12. For Hernandez it's 12 and 10 again, so they're not ball playing defenders, but again, I'm not keen on that role anyway. We'll be looking to try and keep possession when we've got the ball, and certainly building out from the back, playing out from the back. The central defence role for me works better, because a ball-playing defender is looking to bypass midfielders, play through balls, play longer, more direct passes. And I'm going to be ticking the play out of box, play out of defence, which is already ticked anyway, but I'm going to be making sure we've got that when we're in possession. So I don't want to counteract that by bypassing the midfield. So they're both going to centre-back pairing, just on defence, not playing a stopper, not playing cover, just try and keep all 4 guys in line effectively when we're defending. Should help with their positioning and keeping them a little bit more compact as a back 4. Now, we did also notice in video 1 that Rupen Alcaraz will absolutely be a first team starter for me, but he is out for the first 2 months of the year, of the season, so we haven't got him available to start with. However, I do know some other places where I definitely want to play certain players, so I'm going to bypass the central midfield roles for a second. And we know that Theo Bongonda, from looking at him in episode 1, that he is absolutely going to be a first team starter for me. Now, his preferred foot is left, as an inverted winger coming in from the right, but he can play central attacking midfield or attacking midfield left as a more traditional winger. However, I don't want to play wingers in this particular formation, especially as if I had amazing crossers of the ball, then I might do, but his crossing isn't amazing, but he is a good dribbler, does have a good first touch, is a good passer of the ball, so inverted winger is him all day long. Inside forward, not so much. It sort of limits him a little bit, and he's got the ability in other areas to play the winger role. So Bongonda goes in on the right wing straight away, and we change his position to inverted winger. On support, I think on support is probably the best. If we put him on support, looking at the standard attributes that are required, he fits the bill for most of them. If we put him on attack, yeah, he does offer a bit more flair. He does offer good off the ball movement, so he may be better suited to that. Yep, we're going to stick him on attack just because attacking encourages more flair, encourages more off the ball movement as they get into more attacking goal scoring positions. He's got good technique. He's good at, like I said, Bongonda, we're going to stick him on attack just because it fits his profile a little bit more on what we'd be looking for that kind of role. On the other side of the pitch, down the left wing, I think our best option is going to be Brian Ocampo. Lots of pace, again, right-footed, cuts in, lots of flair, good off-the-ball movement again. I think, to be fair, playing him on attack as well could work quite well, yeah, because for a support function, again, it just doesn't make enough use of his best attributes, which are anticipation is good if we put that on for the attacking role, flair, vision. Yeah, he's definitely, I mean, it may be worth playing him as an inside forward, maybe. Just look at his role. So I will always do this with my players, is look at what's highlighted, look at where their strengths are, and try to play to the player's defence. Now, to the player's strengths. Now, what I do notice with the winger role, composure and decisions are not great for Ocampo, and they're quite a big part of the inverted winger role, certainly decision making, because inverted wingers are asked to do a little bit more than inside forwards, so they need to have the ability to make the decision on when to pass, when to shoot, when to dribble. Now, you can have good attributes in those areas, which he has: good technique, good passing, good dribbling skills, good crossing skills. However, if you don't make the right decision most of the time, with a 9 out of 20 attribute stat for there, it probably doesn't matter how good you are at them, because most of the time you're making the wrong choices. If we switch to inside forward, decisions comes off. So it's not as important because they're more limited to what they're asked to do. He's asked to get forward and score goals. He's not got to play too many different options. It's a bit more of a simpler game. So Ocampo is definitely more suited to an inside forward role. So we are going to play him on that position, on a support function, just because he's a decent passer of the ball with good vision. And as a support, he'll be asked to play more through balls than always getting forward and shooting. So Ocampo goes in as inside forward on support. I like to have, if I can as well, one wide player on attack, one on support. So it works perfectly with their skill sets, with their favoured positions. It works really well in what I'm asking them both to do. With regards to the striker role, it's a difficult one because I've got two strikers that my assistant manager really likes, but I'm not hugely keen on. Alvaro Negredo offers me no pace, but he does offer me good work rate, and as a gegenpress tactic, really I am looking for sort of a pressing type player. So he does tick that box. However, he's got no acceleration, which is quite key for the pressing forward. Advanced forward again is a high press position. Fits the bill on a lot of these, but no pace, which is a real concern. Anthony Lozano, on the other hand, is a bit more pacier. Still has the work rate. Probably not as good on the technical side as Negredo. Probably not as tidy a finisher. Not as good in front of goal. But as a team, in what I'm trying to do, Lozano probably fits the bill a little bit better. So, again, when you're playing one up front, I feel you've got to have them on attack. Especially if I'm playing for what didn't have an advanced midfielder in here, then I probably wouldn't mind so much about not having that on tap. But with this person, I want this person, my striker, with the advanced midfielder in, I absolutely want my striker pushing as far up the pitch as possible. So he's going on pressing forward in attack. Let's just hassle those defenders. Let's hassle that back line. Cause yourself problems. Get on the end of opportunities. Hopefully score goals. It's just his finishing ability. I wonder how many chances he's going to miss for us. Looking at the central midfield roles, my best options in those roles, if I go to my squad planner, into my midfield central role, certainly Ruben Alcaraz, like I said, he's out, he's injured, so we can't even take him into, and we've got a lot of players there, but they're all sort of, my assistant saying, all 3 stars. Now, I've got an old squad. Antonio Blanco is 21 years old. He's the youngest person in my team. I want him in the team, basically to inject a bit of youth, inject something different. He's a decent all-round player, although he doesn't stand out in any certain area apart from his determination. All-round, he's pretty solid without being amazing. So I'm going to put Blanco in. I don't know which role just yet, but he's definitely going to go into the team. So he's in. And going back to the squad planner on the roles again. Again, I've got Emeterio, but he's injured for 6 weeks, so we'll discount him for a minute. So it leaves me sort of Alex Fernandez, who, as we stated we saw in episode 1, very much a passer of the ball, playmaker type role, great vision, not the fastest, but great first touch. Decision making is good. He again, it's whether you play him in the advanced midfield role, which, to be fair, looks like it suits him. It does look like it suits him. He can play most of these roles, to be fair. In central midfield, it's kind of really what you how I'm looking to set up. And I'm just thinking about that in my mind of, he's more of an attacking player. I don't know if I want another attacking midfielder in that central midfield. It's the deeper role. It's a bit of an odd one there. Jose Marie, 34 years old. More of a workhorse, to be fair. More defensively minded, although again a good passer of the ball. Good work rate, good concentration. I'm going to stick Jose Marie in first of all, just to start with. That may change. I don't know. I'll look at the roles in a minute. Lucas Perez then, as well, he's more of a striker than anything else. Experienced striker, so I could play Perez up front in that role, in that striker role. Which means I could get rid of Negredo, but then at the same time, Perez is off in January based on the fact of we're going to follow True Real Life, and the fact that he left the club in Jan. He's just joined Deportivo, so we know we've only got him for a few months. Let's put Fernandez in this position to start with. That's how we're set up. So we now just got to do individual roles. So we've done the back line, done the keeper, done the wingers, done the forward. It's just these three central midfielders and how I want them playing. Now, Bongonda's going to be, and Campo are going to be hitting him from the wing. Alex Fernandez is the main creative force. In an ideal world, you want him playing as an advanced playmaker. It's telling him to shoot less often, which doesn't really fit him. He likes to shoot from distance, but he isn't great at it. His long shots are not fantastic. He's only 11 out of 20 for those, so I don't know if that's really ideal. It's something that I'm going to have to look at on his training, but again, he's pushing the back end of his career sort of in the next couple of years, so I'm not sure how open he's going to be to that. Take more risk, dribble less and hold position. Take more risks, dribble less, hold position. So if we're looking at the Enganche role, dribble less, he's not the greatest dribbler. We could play him in that role. We could play him in the Enganche role. Hold his position, take more risks with passing and dribble less. That could work. We'll try him there to start with. We'll see how he gets on. We may change his role. But dribbling less and taking more risks. I don't really want him dribbling because these guys are doing that. He just needs to sit in that hole and spray passes around, really. So he'll hold his position. Yeah, that should suit him. Now, Jose Marie and Blanco are both good work rate, good teamwork, decent passers of the ball, but not the most amazing vision. Although Marie's is decent. We'll stick Marie in as a deep line playmaker on defend, just because I want to make use of this. Vision is 15, passing is 14, teamwork is 18. He should be able to play balls from deep, but he's got good defensive attributes. So he's good anticipation, so that works both defensively and going forward. As a playmaker, he should be able to anticipate the runs of my front men and play the right ball. He's got the ability to play the ball. However, defensively, he's got the ability as well to anticipate the opposition's moves. So putting him on the deep line playmaker on defence works perfectly. And then I like to have an up and down just to get involved in things. So for me, Always got to have a box to box in there. I love that role. Blanco will get forward and support attacks. He'll get back and help the defence. That role for me is an absolute must. All I'll do on their individual instructions is just look to see if they've got any particular weaknesses. Now, Blanco is not a good dribbler of the ball, so I don't want him dribbling with it. I want him getting up and supporting the play, but I want him picking the ball up, playing a pass. Picking the ball up, playing a pass. 1-2s, 1-2s. That's what we're looking for. Shooting, not the greatest finisher, and long shots are not good either, so shoot less often on him. And I'm not going to limit his passing or crossing ability when he gets into the right positions. What I do want to do, though, with Zaldua coming inside and Espino, I can set both these central midfielders so that we can stretch the play a little bit. I'm going to set both of them to stay wider when we've got the ball. So when we've got the ball, they should stretch the play by moving out wide. They won't come right out to the wings. I'm not telling them to move into channels, but they'll come out to like here, stretch the play. We've got someone in the middle there. We've got two inverted wing backs that will come in and fill those gaps if they do stretch. It should work really well. So as these guys go wider, both the fullbacks and the wingers should come inside. So it gives us something different. It should pull opposition players out of position. So that's Blanco set up. Jose Marie, I think we're just keeping him on stay wider, and we want to set to take more risks as well because we know he's got really good passing ability in that position. Fernandez is staying on everything that he's got on because we picked his role for his position, for his attributes. Sorry, Lozano. Half decent dribbler, that's okay, we'll keep that on. With regards to passing, not bad, we'll keep that on. And obviously we don't want to be limiting the shooting of our main attacker. With regards to the inverted wingers, they will, again, not good finishers, not good long shots. We'll be taking shoot less often for both of those, and dribble less as well. With regards to passing, just keep that as is, and again on the other side, shoot less often, and I think for Zaldua, dribble less. No, we'll keep dribble less at unticked. We're not going to send him to dribble more, but he's not the worst at it. When the opportunity arises, quite happy for him to do his thing. So that's us set up. That's tactic wise individually. Just got to change what we want to change on the team tactics now. Now high press, absolutely. Higher defensive line, we're actually going to drop that back to standard just because we haven't got the quickest centre backs, haven't got the quickest players, and I'm not too bothered about leaving a gap between defensive and midfield because we know the fullbacks are going to fill in these goals, and we know we've got Jose Marie set on a defensive to drop back in, so I'm not worried about this gap between the two. Much more often because it's a gegenpress style. Prevent short goalkeeper distribution, absolutely. We want to try and stop the opposition playing out from the back. Get stuck in because I do want us making tackles further up the pitch. I want us again putting pressure on, being tough in the tackle, rattling the opposition, unsettling them as much as we can. And in the defensive line, I'm not having anything there, not stepping up more, not dropping off more. Just focus on keeping a nice flat line, doing what you need to do and defending where you need to defend. And I'm going to keep all of these as they are as well. So not focusing anything specific on the defensive to start with. Counter press, counter, absolutely with the gegenpress. Distribute to centre backs and full backs. Quite happy to distribute to both. And for my keeper, we established from his point of view, his passing isn't great. Throw-in's okay. But to be fair, we just sort of want him rolling it out and building things up from the back. So it'll just be roll it out to the defenders. In possession, we'll play fairly wide. So if I want to stretch the play as much as possible, and obviously give ourselves opportunities to attack down the wing, we've got players cutting inside, so we don't need to worry about leaving gaps. That's all good. Playing out of defence and working ball into the box, we are absolutely going to do that. Actually, no, I'm not going to tick work ball into box. I don't want us to get up here. We're not the most talented on the ball compared to other players. We're okay, but compared to other players in the division, we're not the most talented. So we're not going to pass it around and dilly-dally with it and muck about with it. We are literally just going to get the ball forward, and when we're up here, if the shot is on, play the shot. Take the shot, take the opportunity. So we're not going to work the ball into the box, but we are going to play out of defence. We're not going to focus our play down any specific area of the pitch to start with. because we've got creativity from all sides. And I am going to tick the underlap left and right though, because I do have a box to box running on. I do have inverted wing backs who could make underlapping runs. Yeah, and I do have an Onganch who can also make runs if need be. So underlap left and right. And passing directness, we are going to go shorter and with a high tempo. Just because I like to play a nice short passing game, keep the ball, keep possession, but up here without the work ball into box, we should keep possession up to here, and then when an opportunity arises in the final third, take the shot, have a go. We're not going to dribble less or more. That should be up to the individual players about the situation. Players at this level should be good enough to know when it's worth. When it's the right thing to do, to dribble or not. We're not going to play for set pieces. For me, that's a very lower down tactical edge that you get, as in lower leagues, for like big lumping it forward. Passing into space, that really just comes down to the pace of your players. So do they have the pace that they're going to get onto the ball? Now, acceleration and pace for Ocampo is 16 and 14. Bongonde is 15 and 15. Fernandez 11 and 11. Not the greatest. Yeah, I mean, in general, we're quite pacey. So I'm quite happy to pass it into space. I'm quite happy to leave that on. If I feel that we're wasting opportunities, we're playing too many through balls that we're not getting on the end of, then I'd take it off. Last thing to do is just what type of crosses into the box, and Lozano is 6 foot with okay heading ability, okay pace. I'm going to leave it on mix to start with and try to work out from watching the games what crosses we are making the most of and what we're getting on the end of and everything else. That's it for tactic. That's the tactic setup. Yeah. So I'm quite happy. I feel, certainly after looking at the squad initially, I certainly feel we've got a team to compete in this division. We're not one of the best sides, so I certainly don't expect us to be getting into Europe with this team, but I definitely think we can be giving it a go and steering clear of relegation, which is the initial aim, and moving up towards a sort of mid-table position. It's certainly not out of the realms of possibility. So that's tactic. Next up, we'll play some games. I'm going to play some friendlies, and I'm keeping with this video. I'll be back in a second with you guys after I've played some games, and we'll see how we did in the friendlies and how this tactic's working. But on second thoughts, the results from friendlies are going to have to wait till the next episode. I made a pact with myself when I started this series that I was going to keep videos down to a watchable time limit. So I've just realised that I've gone on about the tactic for a good 25 minutes, hopefully giving you guys a really good in-depth overview of how I put a tactic together, what I look for, why I've picked the players I've picked, and why I've picked the roles for them. So hopefully you found it useful, and as we move on with the save now and see how we're playing and how our results are going and where our goals are coming from, and hopefully as well identifying where our weaknesses are, we'll be able to tweak that tactic, and this will have proven to be a really important episode in the whole journey as to what we started with and what we tweak and why. But yeah, like I said, I did say to myself, I'm not going to make really long videos, 50 minutes long and hours long. I wanted these to be watchable in a decent space of time when you're sitting there at home in the evening, or you're on your lunch break, or you're on the train to work. So keeping them down to about half an hour, 40 minutes at the absolute maximum. So I will go away, play some friendlies, hopefully maybe do a little bit in the transfer market as well. And episode 3, when you return at 8:30 tomorrow night, we will then be able to talk about how the tactic's working, what it's doing, how pre-season went, and if there's been any transfer activity. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm off to play some friendlies. You guys enjoy the rest of your evening, day, whatever time it is that you're watching this video. And again, thanks for checking in, and I look forward to seeing you soon.